Welcome to the VintageRock.com podcast. For today's episode, we take a step back to the archives in 2010 when we had the opportunity to chat with Bill Ward, the original drummer for Black Sabbath. At the time, Bill was extremely active with his own radio show and various recording projects. And we talked about that during the first portion of the interview. Unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, we don't have a recording of that. We do, however, have over 30 minutes of the rest of the interview where Bill talks extensively about his solo work and, best of all, his time and work with Black Sabbath. Keep in mind, this was a year before Black Sabbath announced a full-on reunion that resulted in Bill dropping out due to his issues with what he called an unsignable contract. As we all know now, the reunion went ahead without Bill until 2017, when Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Ozzy Osbourne presumably drove the final nail into the Black Sabbath legacy with a concert in their hometown of Birmingham, England. Fast forward to 2025 with the band in full retirement and Ozzy Osbourne struggling with Parkinson's disease. Still, the end of Black Sabbath, for many, including Ozzy, remains incomplete. They need Bill Ward to finish the story. As we all prepare to see how the final reunion of the original Black Sabbath, once again in Birmingham, goes down, or perhaps it already went down if you're listening to this after the fact, there's no question Bill Ward, then, now, and always, is an integral part, the heartbeat, if you will, of Black Sabbath. And it's so good he was able to be part of the group's last moments together. So let's take a step back to 2010 and see what the man had to say.
3 albums you're working on. Now, what are those titles again, just once more?
Well, the first one, the one that we're trying to finish right now, that we're on literally in the studios with, it's an album called Accountable Beasts.
Accountable Beasts, okay.
And then the next one is the long overdue Beyond Aston.
Okay.
And the third one, I'm keeping that one a secret.
Okay.
We haven't patented the name yet.
Oh, okay.
So I don't want to copyright.
Well, now, just at the beginning of our conversation, we were talking a little bit about your first record, Ward 1, which was, an all-star affair. I remember you had Ozzy and Jack Bruce on there, and
right.
And I mean, I was reading through the internet, and boy, everybody just says that record is brilliant. It's sort of assumed a legend all of its own. I mean, what do you remember about making that record? That was your first solo effort. I mean, that must hold a special place for you, I would imagine.
Very much so, because I can remember each artist, and I can remember, how each artist evolved, and the experiences that I got from that, and then I think one of the most, I guess before I set about that course, the biggest thing that I got from it was validity from my peers.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I was still real shaky, Sean.
Right.
I was only a few years sober, and I was still real intimidated, and I had a lot of low self-esteem. But I really tried hard to write a really good album, and so getting validation from Jack Bruce, and having Zach come in on his 21st birthday and play that incredible guitar solo on oh my God, I just went blank.
Bombers, or
it was on Pink Clouds and Island.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And then having Ozzy come in and do Jack's Land.
Mm-hmm.
I remember writing Jack's Land with Jimmy Yeager, and when I was doing the lyrics and kind of working on the arrangement, I knew that I was writing it for Oz, and Ozzy is in some ways is very easy for me to write to, because I've been with him for such a long time. I recognise how his voice works and what doesn't work, And I was absolutely thrilled when I sent him. I think he was in England and I was stateside, and I sent him the CD for Jack's Land, And he called me back, and he was absolutely fucking ecstatic. I mean, he was just like, man, he just absolutely went head over heels for it. He loved it. And I felt like I'd really accomplished something, because I had to measure all of those lyrics, and I had to measure what I thought would work for him. So as a songwriter, I felt quite validated about that. And even though Ozzy and myself, we've done things like that before, obviously when we were in Black Sabbath, but this was something quite different. It was solo work outside of the Sabs, so and it was I felt very, very good about that, and I know that he was head over heels about the song, and he performed it, literally exactly as I had hoped that he would, and he knew where to go with it. It's just like you can hand him. That's what's brilliant about ours. You can hand him something, and if he likes it, and if he gets it, and the way that it's his interpretation of a song or a lyric that I think really, really can make or break a song. And Ozzy's the only singer I've ever met in my life that could ever do anything like that. Very good. He can be theatrical, and he can be, he knows how to sing a word, and so it's, in that sense, I think he's quite, he's just a great musician. So.
Now, would you say that that's perhaps part of the reason why you chose not to go on with Black Sabbath when they worked with other singers? I mean, I know you made Heaven and Hell with Ronnie James Dio, and you did Born Again with Ian Gillan, but I mean, were they just completely different working with them as opposed to Ozzy? You just felt more comfortable with Ozzy? Is that it, or how would you describe that?
I felt very comfortable with Oz, and Ronnie and Ian. I love both guys. They're very nice men. I felt I was very close with Ronnie at one part of my life, But there was some things that Ronnie had written that I didn't quite jive with, I understood these lyrics and I respected his lyrics, but it was I did have a little bit of a tougher time, kind of being with the flow, with some of the lyrics. So there was a little bit of that kind of thing, and also of course with Ian, as much as I love Ian and brilliant singers. I mean, Ronnie and Ian are just fucking brilliant singers.
Yeah.
But they, Ian has his own taste calls as well lyrically. So as much as I enjoyed doing Born Again, I could hear the difference. I think one of the biggest things here is that to talk about really is my relationship with Geezer, because he's, he was writing a huge percentage of the lyrics in Black Sabbath, but then again, so was Ozzy. So it's Ozzy's spontaneity, and it's very British and it's very street, and that's what I missed. He's just so great at just coming up. He can say a sentence and I can make a song of it. All he's got to do is give me 5 fucking lines and I'll write a song. In fact, he did that. He did that about 7 years ago. And that's when Scary Dreams. There was a song called Scary Dreams, which the band was rehearsing, and we actually played it once live as well. And that was off him. That was from Ozzy coming downstairs and saying good morning. And then he turned around and he says, how are you? And he said, I had a really scary dream last night. Then I rushed out the room right in front of him to grab a pen and paper, and he looked at me as if I was fucking crazy, And I said, I'll be right back. But that was it, it's just the way that he pronounced that and said that, and it's just like, oh, yeah, what a catch, So that's an example of just grabbing something from a fellow writer or a fellow musician, and a good friend. So I think coming back to Geese is really important. I missed my relationship with Geezer as a lyricist.
So he stopped writing lyrics when Dio and Gillan were in the band. He didn't write any of those lyrics.
Yeah, it started to. Jesus, kind of went into a bit of a dry spell, and he didn't want to. He didn't necessarily want to write anymore in the way that he had been writing,
Mm-hmm.
And I missed that. That was to me that was a huge loss. And I hope when I say that, I mean absolutely no disrespect to Ronnie or to Ian.
Sure.
They're both still. Well, I know Ronnie has passed away, but I'm not gonna. I'm not going to be critical of the man. If I'm going to say anything about him, it's going to be good stuff. And Ian is just, somebody that I absolutely admire as a musician as well. So, but I did. I miss Terry's lyrics, and just how it is,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We've been writing. We've been working together. I mean, he's the rhythm section. Me and Geezer are the rhythm section, and when you're that tight and you're that close to someone, it's a whole different relationship that I might have with Ozzy or Tony.
Sure.
I mean, so, yeah, it's, that's what I missed. I missed a lot of that stuff.
Well, now, you did remain fairly close to and supportive of Ozzy after he split from Sabbath. Was there ever a possibility of you joining his band? Was there any talk of that? Did you?
No, there was nothing like that, Sean.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have. I've tried to maintain. I've tried to maintain being in a place where I didn't want to pair off with anybody really.
Right.
That's why some of the other things that we tried to do were unsuccessful for me.
Mm-hmm.
I just, as much as my heart wanted to, it's not because I had a beef or something. I just felt in the profile of Black Sabbath and what it meant to everybody, I thought it would be best that I didn't, I thought it would be best that I didn't try to do anything like that and just, move in between everything and everybody. That was something I personally didn't get into. So.
Right. Well, I mean, of course, now Ozzy, he's a household name. He's a TV star, a pop icon. He even wrote a book. Did you read his book at all?
I've read about 60% now.
Yeah. What do you think of it?
He sounds like Ozzy.
It does. I read it and I go, boy, it sounds just like Ozzy.
It sounds just like Ozzy. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, I love him. I spoke to him. What are we? It's Friday today.
Yeah.
So he called me Wednesday.
Yeah.
And so that was the last time I spoke to him.
Yeah.
He had a gig Thursday night, and then he called me I spoke to him Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to rest his voice on Wednesday. So, I mean, that's how far away we are from each other.
Sure. Well, he's in town tomorrow, isn't he? Is he at Ozfest?
San Bernardino.
Yeah. You going to that?
No.
No, you're not going to.
Oh no. If I'm playing, I'll go down. But I can't. I can't get down there.
Yeah. Do you have any plans to write a book yourself? Have you thought about that at all?
Other people have. I started to write a book when I was about 3 years sober.
Yeah.
And I stopped writing it when I was about 5 years sober because it felt like a rub. It felt like I felt a lot of resistance to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized I was writing out of ego.
Mm.
And so I thought, you know what, maybe I'll give it 10 years and see how I feel. But I feel like I'm in a much better prone position to write now, and I've been enjoying myself as a writer.
Mm-hmm.
I write in a column each month, every 3 months. I write a little column for Hales and Horns, and I've written some other things, and so it's actually something that's come about. I find myself really enjoying writing things. I did when Peter Steele died just recently, and then when
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie died, and I know it's been very sad, but I try to write some very prolific, important things about them, and especially Peter. He had been an incredible influence on me, from Typo Negative.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But so I've been writing for quite a while, and so and I feel like, okay, maybe I could, take the challenge now to put pen to paper and really see where that would go. I've been so tied up, Sean, with recording.
Sure.
That I to be honest, I really haven't had any time to take a look at the book. But I get monthly reminders from my peers.
Yeah.
Hey, it's about time you wrote the book. Happy birthday.
Right.
I get that kind of shit coming at me all the time.
Sure. Well, I mean, now, Bill, you're a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, and Black Sabbath is one of the most influential bands in history. When you look back at the success the band enjoyed back in the 70s, does it amaze you that now here we are 30, 40 years later, and people are still excited about the band? I mean, doesn't that just blow your mind?
Well, I'll tell you what it does, Sean. It gives me a lot of humility.
It does, really?
Yes, it does. It's been one of the most nicest silent gifts that I think I've ever received in my life. Because all the accolades have been coming for a number of years now.
Mm-hmm.
Towards Black Sabbath.
Sure.
I didn't see the train coming. I didn't expect these things whatsoever. I had nothing worked out, and I don't think any of the other guys did.
Mm-hmm.
So when I received compliments, and especially from other bands and musicians, and still seeing the generations of fans that still come to see Black Sabbath, it blows me away. Like you said, I'm blown away by that. But I am. I'm almost like in a state of being very grateful to be alive still, and to be a part of the accolades and the love. I'm just so I really try to be really humble about it. I really try to, I don't get big-headed about it.
Right.
It's like, what, that's really sweet, and I love you, for what you're saying. I mean, and I do that with genuine action on my part. When people say that, I make sure that I go out of my way to say, hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Well, just personally, I mean, you guys have been a big part of my life. I first saw you at the California Jam. That's where I was at. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you remember that gig.
Oh, yeah.
And then I saw you 4 or 5 times at the Long Beach Arena. I saw the Sabotage Tour, the Technical Ecstasy Tour, the Never Say Die Tours. I saw you at Anaheim Stadium, and I think you and I chatted about this one time because you played there with Boston and Van Halen, and I think you told me something about how you and the drummer from Boston got lost in the parking lot or something. Do you remember anything about that?
Yeah, Sib. Yeah, me and Sib had gone out. We got out for, I don't know how we fucking did it.
Yeah.
But we were partners in crime, so, and I was a little high, and I know he was as well.
Right.
We got lost. We were trying to get back in. Somehow we got on the other side of the perimeter.
Mm-hmm.
We were trying to get back in, and the bouncers kept throwing us out. We couldn't get into our own gig.
Right.
At the time, it was a bit scary because I'm thinking, what, I fucked up again, one more time.
Right.
And Sib was wondering what was going on as well. So it's just the stuff that that you end up doing, and our road managers weren't very happy at all.
Right.
They don't like stuff like that. They want to know where the band is at all times. So
sure. Well, now we talked about the accolades, and of course, one of the big ones this year is everybody's talking about Paranoid. It's the 40th anniversary of Paranoid, and there's this classic albums documentary. I don't know if you've seen.
Yeah.
That I received. And you're fantastic in it. It was great to see you in it, and I loved how Henry Rollins was just raving about you and Geezer as a rhythm section. You were talking about how close you guys were. I mean, and he was right. You guys, as a rhythm section, were just so tight, and sort of became a single entity, really. I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, first of all, I think Henry's very complimentary. I know Henry's a huge Sabbath fan anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and but we all love him. I think Terry and I are a really good rhythm section, and I play wide, he plays tight. He plays wide, I play tight. we know how to go in and out of the grooves. I don't necessarily listen to him, and I've never asked him if he listens to me.
Right.
But it's just we have a natural ability to just wind in and out of each other.
Well, you say, along with Tony's guitar, it's just all ingrained into the song, and you do say in the documentary how, for example, when you guys did the song Black Sabbath, you were sort of playing to the words, which I thought was interesting. Was this something that was worked out, or was it spontaneous, or how did that all gel?
It's a nice question, Sean. Well, all three of them are lead instruments.
Mm-hmm.
So Terry and Ozzy and Tony, and I probably went to the most prominent lead instrument. So even though Tony's got the one note, or the three notes that he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
When we go into the quiet piece, I have more of a swing time, trying to hold it. And when I listen to what Ozzy was singing and the way that he was singing it, I really tighten up my feel according to the way that he's performing it. It's very important. But I just hang. I just groove through both Terry and Tony, because they're quite, well, I was going to say limited. Limited in the sense that that's what they're playing. They're playing on the bars,
mm-hmm.
and so that's what the groove is. Whereas I can kind of move around a little bit.
Sure.
And I've got a hat. Where I do a hat that's kind of like a hat that really isn't with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like at the beginning of Tony's first note in the 3-note riff.
Mm-hmm.
And that hat just happens to be there, and I don't know why it's there. I've had it there since day one. I had it there since we first wrote the song, and it, I think everybody expects to hear that hat. It's very much a part of everything, even though it's in a very odd measure. So, but well, everything hangs. That song to me is like a chandelier, and everything hangs onto everything else. There's no real sense of time. There's no, in fact, obviously, we've worked with other singers trying to do Black Sabbath,
mm-hmm.
and it never felt the same. That's because the other singers sang it in time, and we don't play. It's not in time. It's not in time as time is understood.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, it's very much a felt song. But there's no real rhythm to it, it's, I don't know what else, how else to describe it.
So, are you saying like Ozzy sort of sang behind the beat?
Oh, wait, well, I definitely play behind the beat.
Yeah.
So, I think we're all behind the beat.
Yeah.
Black Sabbath, yeah.
Yeah.
He's behind the beat vocally,
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's on the one.
Yeah.
But it's, it's like four independent sounds, and they somehow just managed to gel and they fit together.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing that I loved about the documentary is, of course, they sort of spotlighted your drumming in Rat Salad, which I thought was just fantastic. You just don't realize how good it is, and very jazz influenced, what I got out of that.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Very jazz influenced, very, very Cream, very Mitch. There's a lot of guys, man, that I loved. Louis Belson, Gene Krupa, Ringo. A lot of drummers I just absolutely love. Pete York, Mick Evans, all these guys, man, they were all just brilliant drummers. So, I as far as me growing up as a drummer, I was brought up in an age that was absolutely golden as far as great drummers. There were just so many progressive and original drummers that were playing, and I felt consumed by all the richness and all the embroideries and everything. So I almost felt free to have at it. So I have to give credit to all the guys that turned me on, and guys that I tried to emulate and could not. And they were just so good. It's such good craftsmen.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and of course, a lot of people now, they look back and they think that back in the 70s, it was you and John Bonham and Keith Moon sort of wreaking havoc and tearing up hotels and beating the drums and doing all that. I mean, was that what it was like, or?
Well, certainly wreaking havoc. I think I did some nice drumming.
Yes, you did.
I did. When we'd play Hand of Doom, that was I like the jazz feel on it, obviously. And then I loved the crescendos, and the crescendos, like we all went big. I mean, Tony and Geezer would play the same chord. I would try to play all of my drum kits all at the same time. I'd play a big one note, big blast, and then, like I say, with Geezer, he would go small inside my big, and I would go big inside his small. So that's how our rhythm section really comes together. So I just loved all the different things that I was able to participate in.
Right.
And of course, these days I'm still, I'm trying all the time. I mean, I work at new things constantly. So.
Sure. Well, now I wanted to ask you. Now you've come a long way as a songwriter, and I know that Sabbath used to split the songwriting credits 4 ways. I believe.
Yeah.
And of course Tony always gets the credit for the riffs, and Geezer gets the credit for the lyrics, and a little Ozzy. Did you ever bring a written song into the camp and introduce it to the band and do anything?
Not really. I mean, none of us did that.
Okay.
It was actually something that was written.
Yeah, it was all kind of just sort of happened between the 4 of you.
Yeah, we might have a lick or an arrangement, or one of the things that we all participated in was well, how's it going to sound? How is the arrangement going to be? Because Tony would show up with maybe 4 or 5 licks, and it's like, well, where we're going to put them,
Right.
And so we would all. First of all, with the licks, we'd all agree that they were great licks. So Tony would say, he'd always ask, do you like this? What do you think of this? And so we were all participating and bouncing off each other all the time, And where I stood in all of that was I would work with Tony on arrangements. I tried licks, drum licks, obviously, a lot of drum parts that would work for Geezer and for Tony, and also for Oz. There's a lot of things that I worked inside of. Some lyrics, some titles, some ideas, changes, things like that. I think all of us had an enormous influence on each other as far as what to change, what to do, what to actually participate in. So I think we all participated in everything. It's just that the lead, Tony, lead guitar player, gets the lead guitar credits, and Ozzy gets, well, he sang, but he did a lot more than sing.
Right.
He was involved in every structure of every song, and
he'd write the melodies and stuff like that, right?
Well, yeah, it's a huge part. I mean, he'd have all the melodies, he'd have all the, there's so much that every person did, and but we'd all suggest melody ideas as well, the same way that they'd fire back at me and say, you want to try doing it this way, and so I try to play a pattern that they might like, or that they had suggested. Or me and Geezer would just go away sometimes for a week or two, and again, we were trying to figure out a complex piece and what would go, what I could play with, and Geezer and I could play to make something sound smooth, And Junior's Eyes was a particularly sensitive song. It was sensitive to Ozzy. That's the first thing. But when we did Junior's Eyes, Terry's got such a nice bass there. I don't want to come rolling in and fucking all that up, you know.
Right.
So I have to be very careful about how I'm going to work between Tony and Geezer's bass. You know, they're very sensitive pieces of music, so, you know, I'm not about to go up and, like, do this huge performance on it. I have to support it, and so it's doing that. That's what works, you know, the characteristics of the men that are involved.
Sure,
You know,
sure.
So...
Well, now recently there was an issue. I mean, it sounds like it was truly a collaboration between the four of you, and it's interesting because there was an issue just recently resolved between, I guess, Ozzy and Tony regarding the Black Sabbath name, and my understanding was that Tony had the sole ownership, and then Ozzy felt that it should be split between the four of you, a true collaboration. Is that what has happened? Can you comment on that?
Yeah, you know what, Sean? I didn't take any notice.
Okay.
I honestly don't. I heard something happen and something went down, but I've completely stayed out of all that.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the outcome was.
Yeah. Well, apparently they said that the name is now owned between the four of you. That's what was settled between Ozzy and Tony. That's what I read in Rolling Stone just last week.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always felt it was anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying as well. And I'm just wondering, now that this has happened, would this open the door? And of course, you know where I'm going. Are you guys going to be getting together again? Do you foresee that? Is there any talk of that? What do you know?
Well, I'm going to stay on what I've been saying is I'm going to stay with Oz when he does his press interviews. He says, "Well, I'm never going to say never."
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I've kind of stolen that from him, and I'm in the same position. I'm never going to say never.
Mm-hmm.
The last tour that we did, I didn't even want to come off it.
Right.
I could have gone round, take me again, like riding the roller coaster ride, Sean.
Yeah.
Like don't stop. Let's go and do it again, and do it again. What the fuck are we getting off the plane for at Los Angeles? You know, let's roll. Let's go all over the world and do it all over again. So that's where I'm coming from.
So you're ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm not quite ready right now because I've been in the studio.
Sure.
My body is definitely not tour ready.
You'd have to get in shape and work out a little bit, but you would like to do it.
Oh, I'm always open-minded to do it. I would do it, you know, providing everything felt right, not only for my the people that work with me, and that would cover everything, you know, from you know, all the things that we would need to have to make it happen, but also if it felt right for Ozzy, Tone and Geese, you know, and if it felt good, then it's like, okay, what the fuck are we waiting for, you know? So yeah, I mean, but I'll stay with Ozzy's quote, you know, I'm never going to say never to it, that's for sure.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Well, that works for me, Bill. I just one other question I want to ask you. Now, you did say you guys wrote some songs on that last tour, so I mean, if in fact there was a reunion, for lack of a better term, do you think that possibly you would go into the studio and cut some new tracks as well, or do you just want to take it one step at a time?
Well, I would love to. I'd like to go back and I'd like to revisit the songs that we were already had as demos, and that was about when would that be now? About 7 years ago. We got a whole batch of stuff.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've got between all of us, we've all got our, you know, our engineer gave us tapes and CDs, and you know, we've uploaded. I've uploaded my tapes, and so I have a good collection. You know, there's a lot of riffs on there. There's a lot of drum riffs on there that I really, really enjoyed doing, and we were just poking out at it, and, you know, me and Terry were working on some things, and just some different...
so this was back when you reunited, like in '99, when you first guys did that tour?
About 7 years ago.
Oh, okay, 7 years ago.
About halfway inside the whole thing.
I see, okay.
But there's all kinds of material. Tony's got incredible licks, as usual.
Wow.
So, yeah, it'd be lovely to revisit them, you know, and shine them up a little bit. You know, I got to get my feet working. That was 7 years ago, 8 years ago, so I need to get my legs working in a way that I can still maintain those bass drum cuts. You know, because they were huge, you know. I think if we could do that, then I think it'd be fabulous.
Thanks for listening to the VintageRock.com podcast.